county, they could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause they used to get, Shirley's feeding 80 to 100 people.
Yes,
Where'd they go?
there's maybe 20 now,
Yeah,
20, 25 at Dunning now.
Looking at this letter, it seems to just zero in on the Meals on Wheels.
well, that's important. Meals on Wheels is more important than the ones that come in because
Correct.
they don't necessarily have to come in. But the Meals on Wheels, they depend on that food.
Meals on Wheels, people depend on that one meal, and sometimes,
Yeah, they try to get
if
two
it's
bucks.
big enough, they'll use it for their evening meal as well.
Right.
And if it's only a little tiny appetizer, how are you gonna make that last for two
Exactly.
meals?
Right. And that's the most important of the whole system is the Meals on Wheels.
Not only that, you are checking on their welfare.
That's right.
You are checking to see if they open the door, if they're okay, if they're able to
True.
move around, if they're communicating with you.
Well, but when I read this, see, I was of the impression there were more issues than just Meals on Wheels, and this
Well,
seems,
there is.
this seems to address that only. And all she needs to do is contact 10 people, and she's met the requirements.
Mhm.
That doesn't sound like that's solving the problem.
That probably doesn't.
And they used to have
I
little
could give
trips.
you more details about that in more private forum if you'd like.
Okay.
And they used to do
I would.
little trips, you know, we used to go on little excursions, get
I know.
everybody in the van and go on a trip somewhere.
I
Pay a
know.
little bit for gas and
I
off
can't
you go.
believe that they did not, that they have not reviewed that, because that's exactly what's happening today.
I know. That's what I thought.
What's that?
That's the last audit they did
Yeah,
in '77.
my gosh.
That was a good year.
That's a lot, how many years ago was that?
A lot.
That's before,
That's
the year before my
47
son
years
was
ago.
born, and he's,
48 years ago.
yeah.
But you know, a lot of every 48 years or so, it's about right. But apparently they were having issues then because they,
Well, I just,
All right, let me.
when we
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
last week, that they used to have a lot of money in the bank account, now they got
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Well, when she come in, they had over 100,000 in the bank, they had 5,000.
100,000 to 5?
That's what I hear. Don't quote me on it, 'cause I'm not sure, but it's,
Yeah, you're gonna
Seriously,
follow
gone
up
down.
and investigate and check that.
Well, you think, yeah. I'm not
I-
writing down anything on this.
but they're buying all their commodities. I mean, that,
Yeah.
and they don't do anything from scratch, they buy everything. So,
Yeah, we don't know whether that's just normal operating, and then once they
Yeah.
get their money from Area 2, that it flushes the account again, and how that works.
I don't know.
Things are always cheaper if you make them by yourself.
Of course,
Oh, yes. You don't buy packaged food and throw it on the plate.
that's what I understand
That's why
they
you
do,
need
they buy all packaged food,
That's horrible.
yeah.
Horrible for your health, horrible for cost.
Yeah.
And you're feeding people, never mind.
So is this person available to do an audit again?
Maybe he's bought a
48 years.
typewriter since then.
Well,
Yeah,
that is the font of that,
Yeah.
you can still get that font.
it's very popular in the
Yeah.
60s. But in the Reagan years.
I see.
It's 48 years.
Claude E. Waters, Jr.
Hard to say, we can look him up.
Well, it looks like old Claude E. Waters was pretty thorough.
If he was 25 years old then, he's 75 now.
All right, well,
And I gave him a copy of what Ben gave me, but they didn't have it highlighted,
They did,
did they? Okay.
yes, they did.
So we're working on it, I'm gonna try to get ahold of Betty today and see how she comes out, or what she needs, because she might need some more help.
She's very nice.
It's
But
moving.
Betty Haynes is right there with her, and I won't mess with her. She can handle herself.
well, what we understood the issues, quality, quantity of the meals,
Mm-hmm.
and travel into town were the major issues.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This addresses the Meals on Wheels, which was probably the biggest But the biggest complaint there we got from the people with Meals on Wheels is that the rations have been reduced
Yeah,
and they're not being able to make 2 meals out of it. And, you know, we did tell that board that if any of this has to do with money and you just can't afford it,
yeah.
they can come to the county and we can see if we can up there. We didn't want that to suffer.
Right.
Nobody's come to us and asked us because we wanna support the quality of what's going on.
Yeah,
The money handling seems to be an issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'd be a little hesitant to handle $25,000.
Yeah, really. Disappears that fast. I know
Well-
one time, this is kind of, but you talk about Tracy and everybody's so hesitant to deal with her. Well, we went in there one day and she read Bill and I, the Riot Act. This is one of the reasons we quit doing Meals on Wheels.
Yeah,
You're not delivering it properly. You need to put it flat, and you need to not carry it like this, and you need to carry it like that. And I'm like,
So you were volunteering delivering meals.
that's
yes,
right.
you need to carry the bag like this, not like this, and you need to not tip it. And I'm like,
Well, was there any merit to what she was saying?
well, first of all, you need to maybe package it a little differently, and you maybe need to do this, and I'm, you know,
Okay.
what? I'm not a child. Don't lecture me on how to carry a bag of food to a person in a house.
Oh, I wonder if there were complaints, but I doubt it.
Well,
Oh,
every now and then, a bag with okay, so they put it in a little styrofoam container and you have a sloppy meal.
yeah, soup.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
something with sauce,
Gravy
and it's
or
gonna
something.
slip out of the thing and the thing's gonna come apart and it's gonna be all over the bag. That is my problem. And I would deliver it to somebody in a house and say, I am so sorry, but this came apart,
Yeah,
and be careful when you open the bag, cause it's all over the bottom of the bag.
Oh, God.
And then she would get complaints. And so it's our fault.
All right.
So, yeah, that's one of the reasons we quit.
well, we still have
Kept
that
getting yelled at.
issue of Angie's problem, that wrote a $350 check without filling in who she wrote it to,
Mm-hmm.
and she still hasn't returned it. And it should be $350 anyway. I mean, the lease says $250 deposit, $50 for the kitchen. Well, they won't let nobody use the kitchen, so that's off there. And, of course, she had 2 pages of complaints that they didn't clean the place up. See? But particularly the bathrooms, they didn't empty the garbage in the bathrooms. Well, nobody does, you know, Lori and William do.
Mhm.
But Bingo was in there until 4 o'clock,
Yeah,
and they just left. They gathered up stuff and left. They left the tables, they left the garbage, they didn't do any of that. But Cheryl and Angie did all that, but they didn't do the bathrooms, because nobody ever does the bathrooms. That's hazardous waste, that's, you know,
yeah, yeah.
considered. But that is in the lease, though, you need to check the bathroom, so I don't know. But anyhow, she hasn't returned that money to Angie. And she made her leave the check blank, so she could put in the name.
Boy, that's very.
That's kind of scary.
Mm.
That's not right. No, we never leave a blank check.
Well, she said if she was gonna return it to Angie, just put her name in it.
No,
That should have been written to Muscow County,
yes. That's kinda scary.
and then we returned it.
Yeah.
But I told Ron, he was still the chairman, and I said, we're not gonna charge Angie anything. You need to return that check, because she handles all the kids, this is for the kids, and we aren't gonna charge her for that,
Yeah.
no matter
So-
what Tracy says.
Is Tracy getting all the money for renting? Is she getting the money for the rental of the?
Well, what she gets is the money that people pay as they come in to eat,
Yeah, the
the
cash.
cash,
Right,
and that's a problem.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that she's doing all that by herself. and
Yeah,
that's-
she takes that into the office and closes and locks the door and counts it. And then tells the board how much it was. Well, that's not exactly
There should
true.
be two people involved in that.
There should always be two people when you're
Always two
handling money.
people, at least two people.
Yeah, you should have some kind of check and balance.
So anyway,
That's sad, okay.
she's just not a good person for that job. Simple as that, but they worry about trying to just fire her. But it may come to the point where just fire her, so we'll get sued. We got a good county attorney that'll
We
take
got
care of
a
it.
good,
It's not my,
By county,
it's
he's
not
not,
my board, it's not
and
this
he's,
board's.
he's also an excellent cook.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm getting there.
that's right, we got a good cook.
what about the
We got-
Mako angle? You know, whenever we had HR issues, we were required to talk to Mako.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Do you think they're, you know, we
I
are,
don't know. problem is
Mako
this-
will advise them since they're not a county board.
yeah.
Now, I suspect that Area Two Council on Aging probably has access
I
to
would
some
guess.
kind of an HR,
mhm.
department,
I would-
that would be able to provide advice.
okay,
yeah.
I think they need to do that.
Yeah, it's true.
Check Marcy.
You know, basically, it's, you
Don't
know,
tell Betty that.
performance issues have to do with documenting,
Mhm.
people need feedback to do their job right, but you need to document that, but, I think they may have other options that they're not aware of.
True enough. Yeah, I'll tell Betty that probably HR, I never thought of that, Area Two probably does have the access to HR. But yeah, they're not a county board, so we won't be sued. We might,
Well, you will.
yeah. of course.
You got deep
You're our
pockets.
first line of defense.
I'm not on the board, I just sit there. That's why I didn't vote for Dana Melton either, I don't like her.
We're starting to put a little distance between.
Those were, well,
Well, anyway, that's what went on there, and we'll see how
that's
much.
a big deal.
Yeah, heck, yeah. It's moving forward in a good way.
Let's
I
hope
think
so.
it's moved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing is time is of the essence. There's
On
not-
this- on
there's
that
not a
one,
lot
yeah.
of time to,
Yeah, Ben reminded me of that, but not much we can do about that.
no, but we can communicate with Darcy. I mean,
Yeah.
Marcy.
Marcy.
I keep messing that up.
Me too. We could talk to Darcy too, but I don't think she'd have a lot of opinion on it.
That's right. Somebody tell us. Yeah. What else, what other meetings we have?
Well, I was didn't have a meeting, but I was notified by Tetra Tech that they're gonna be monitoring the Farmers Union property
Oh,
and,
that's still ongoing?
yeah, they notified me and Bonadie, and anyway, it says, look, the vehicles down there on that property need to be moved because we're gonna have to drill down into the soil to see
What's there, huh?
what's there. And so I ended up going down and talking to Rick Carlson. And boy, he was, he's sly as all devil. But I
Okay.
checked it this morning and
Big
they
deals.
are moved. So everything's moved, everything's okay there.
Okay.
A big old puddle in the back of Busy Bee. They
Well,
got a
and I
big
told-
old
I had, you
mud
know-
pile back there.
I also had to contact Bruce Hoyland because Bruce had sent him a letter saying long ago that he needed to move him from there and he wouldn't respond to him. Well, anyway, the long and the short is that I told Rick, I said, Rick, another issue, number one, you don't have permission from us.
No.
But number two is that even if you park them there and you did have permission, those vehicles could be dripping antifreeze and oil into the soil that we're gonna be monitoring. You can't have that.
Right.
So when I talked to this lady about
That's true.
the Tetra Tech thing, her name is Pam, And she also looked on the DEQ website for the Waltz property down
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
because we want that released so that we can.
Yeah, exactly.
She says, that thing was done so long ago, I can't find a thing, so what we're gonna have to do is write DEQ a letter, asking them for an update,
Yeah. Let's do that.
and if we get a response from them,
Cause we got till the end of the month, you know.
is that what it is?
Well, that's what Bruce sends us a letter. So
Oh,
we got till
yeah,
the end of
that's
the month
right.
to comply,
Yeah,
or he's gonna slap you.
yeah, he will.
Just for
Yeah,
the fun of it.
Just for fun.
Whatever.
So anyway,
It's a powerful
if we could
position.
follow up on that and see if we can get something from
Yeah.
DEQ, and if we do, then we can release that property. and
Yeah,
Sell it.
if we actually can sell it to Winchetta, that would be better than anything else we can do.
Best
And it'd
thing.
be his problem.
Well, look, I keep confusing the property. That's not the property that's down next to the feed store or whatever.
No,
Okay.
No, this is next to the Busy Bee.
yeah, pretty close, yeah.
Okay.
I think there's one house in between. It's actually along a street,
Yeah.
5th Street.
Well, good, yeah, we need to move on that too.
And that Pam, she also confirmed that, she said that she believes that property, because the people who owned it complied, they just contacted DEQ. DEQ says, if you pour sand down in there, we'll release you.
Yeah,
And that's what we've heard from from what you call Goffney.
yeah, Glenn,
Glenn,
yeah, Dorothy
And-
said that they poured sand in there.
yeah, they just have lost the paperwork that says it was released.
Yeah, Dorothy said she's seen the paperwork. Her dad had it,
I'll bet they
but
did.
they've looked for it everywhere, they can't find it, so.
Mhm.
It's probably on the wall down there. I wonder if they
You
look.
know, we should look. Could
Was
be.
it filed with title for the property?
Yeah.
Well,
Because that would be the best thing
that's,
to do
that's a
with
good
it.
point, you know, we should look.
That was a while
I
back.
mean, that's what I would advise my client to do with it.
Yeah.
Just file it with the title on the property, because then you can never lose it, and if anybody comes up with any questions, you know, it's right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Yepper.
That's true. Should have a title search then.
It would actually, it's something we should do, we could do it ourselves.
What was that on again? What property on the title search?
Waltz property.
We
That'd be
have,
ALTZ.
Bob's Generator and Starter Shop.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, good. Wanna see they're working on the windmill, pretty diligent.
Yeah, I know, that's,
yeah. Going pretty good. Just apparently got a big, what Teresa told me, we should go look at it, she said,
Yeah.
because when you have lighting and the areas are cleaned out, she said it really looks like a valuable piece of property.
Wow.
So, it says it really kinda changes your opinion of, as
How bad it was.
what we've done,
yeah,
committed to.
yep. So, that, I didn't expect that, but that's, if she's right, that's good.
Well, she'll be around today, 2:00.
Yeah, we're supposed to, and also then we're supposed to meet with John Lyon
Oh, that's
for, go over his proposal.
Well, okay.
Try this.
So we thought, not catalyst for change yet lately?
That's
Are we
another-
gonna look into that?
That's another issue we're gonna have to
I think we
address.
should call the catalyst
Yeah,
and
we
say,
should.
what exactly are you guys doing for us? because you wouldn't see much for $60,000.
Do you want to, let's call Amber, we have a good time here, I think.
Yeah,
Can we get her phone number?
I don't think I have it anymore.
Let me see if I do. I do.
you
Okay, what we got?
Amber Martinson, 406
I don't know, I'm gonna see.
459.
Oops.
it's busy. 459.
4763.
At least she's on the road.
Thank you, appreciate it. I'll let you.
Hello, confidential voicemail, Amber Martin Lake. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If this is an emergency, please call 911 or go to your local emergency department. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To send it back, press 4 now. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Good morning, Amber. This is Mike Turley, Mike Goffney, and Bob Pancratz with Muscle County, and we just have some questions for you regarding Catalyst for Change. If you could give us a call at 323-1104, that would be great. Or if you need to, you could reach me on my personal cell, and that is at 406-690-6651. Hope to hear from you. Take care and have a great day.
Very good.
Very diplomatic.
Professional, Mike.
Yeah. How can you say, keep your damn money? No.
Every once in a while, Mike comes down and talks to me and we practice.
Do you? I see.
He says, Mike, we need to practice.
Well, I've noticed a market improvement, so.
You need to practice. Yeah.
Thank y'all for not throwing anything at me, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Could still happen.
Yes, don't you? You
It's
just
early.
gave me an idea.
It's early.
So it doesn't look like there's anything on here until Agent Cooley at 10, and then
Yeah.
DES at 11.
County agent.
All right, then I got work to do.
Do you want this on?
No.